Welcome to Football Manager 2017, my Wigan game, at the end of March 2035. This time it is a home game against Nottingham Forest. They're 10th, I am first, and I'm still gloating about the fact I'm first and will continue to gloat right up until I become not first. In the previous weeks, or week, there was a gap for me because one of my games got postponed because of a cup tie conflict. Everybody else played and nobody did particularly well in the top club, so I still have a 3-point gap between myself and second with a game in hand. And I can't remember if Villa drew or lost, but again, nobody in the top lot did particularly well. I think Oxford had one of the better results recently. So I've still got that gap. Additionally, Borussia Mönchengladbach offered me a job interview, so I went on the interview, and we'll see what they come back with. Now, in addition, my team, Perez is injured, which gives Di Thomas another opportunity. The rest of my defence is fine. Heaton is back in his usual place in the midfield. Obi has been called up to the Nigerian under-23 squad this time, rather than the full Nigerian squad where he won a cap recently. And James Chamberlain, who can actually go in the team, has been called up to the Island squad for a couple of games, whose manager is Shay Given, which I was not aware of. It's always nice to see ex-players doing well in this game in non-playing roles. So Shay Given is the Island manager. Beyond that, Luke Price fell over for 4 months. Well, 3 to 4 months. I sent him to a specialist, but he's gone at the end of the year anyway. So, yeah, didn't care that much. And I tried to renegotiate Andrew Wedderburn's contract because he's that darn good. Unfortunately, he wants more than double of what I can afford to pay him, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. I can't even come close to negotiating. So he has a contract through the end of next year, which I'm hoping if I get promoted, because his release clause is for clubs in a higher domestic division, I'm hoping nobody buys him before I actually get into the Premier League, assuming I actually manage to stay in the promotion slots, at which point his release clause won't matter and I will have all of next year to negotiate a new contract with him, or I think I might have a contract extension clause for him, whatever it's called. So a club option to extend his contract by a year. So depending on how well the season goes, one never knows. Apparently I'm the favourite for this, and the pundits reckon I'm the favourite too. So we'll see how this goes. Let's pick up where we left off. Against the great Nottingham Forest. Either the Nottingham Forest had when I checked the video, I have to check this, but either they had a little kid as a mascot next to their team, or they've got a really tiny player playing for them. And when I say tiny, I'm talking, as is the technical medical term, dwarfism tiny. He was standing towards the left side of their lineup, with their backs to me, but he looked tiny. Okay, and apparently Forest are going around fouling my players. Yeah, dodgy offside decision by a blind linesman there. Not that it really mattered. Wedderburn shooting is not something that's particularly dangerous. Well, that was a good cross. An even better ball by Obi. And unlucky by Harwood there. Well, we're off to a flying start so far, even though I haven't scored. This is where it will go. Oh, I thought he was going to put that into the box and get a dodgy penalty. Oh, a nice move by Heaton. Two nice moves by Heaton and a great ball. Oh, that was some brilliant play. That's Chamberlain showing why he deserves his call-up for Ireland. Harwood, Wedderburn, all first-time football, one-touch control and passed it into the corner. I can understand why he might be about to be an Irish international. But it all started with some great manoeuvres by Heaton. Which means that I'm getting kind of glad that he's back in the team. Oh, unlucky Wedderburn, you at least got that one on target, considering you're surrounded by 4 defenders at the time. Apparently it's going to be one of those games where my guys have decided to be first at every ball. And they're actually going to fight for the ball and pass the ball into good places. Something that hasn't been happening very much recently for my team. Oh, apparently because of postponements, my next game is literally 2 days after this one. So I may actually have to use substitutes in the second half just to give a couple of players a break so they're fit enough for the next game, which is coming up very shortly. Once again, good manoeuvre by Wedderburn. I don't know if he's just trying to impress people so he can get a move away from Wigan, which could be what happens to me shortly anyway. Though I did tell Borussia Mönchengladbach that if they offered me the job, I'd like to start at the end of the season. But as they have a wage budget that is 10 times what I can pay at Wigan currently, I'm tempted for that reason alone. Oh, that was a good move by Bryne. I thought my guy had got that ball. Whoa, great save, Smith. That was a heck of a shot. Okay, Smith, I'm starting to like you a bit better again. I'm also doing a load of scouting on people whose contracts expire. Well, I've done a load of scouting on people whose contracts expire. I found the best of those and I'm doing a load more in-depth scouting on those, as well as everybody that's currently on my shortlist for whatever reason anyway. So I've got full knowledge of them come the end of the season. Because if this side goes up, it's going to need improving. And if this side stays in this division, well, I'm expecting to lose 2 or 3 players, because I'm sure the money that I will get offered for them will be either it will match our release clauses, or it will be too significant to turn down. Or if I do turn it down, the players themselves will get upset and demand to go anyway. Because to be honest, for a lot of players, a club like Wigan, if they do well, is a stepping stone to better things, they hope. And a lot of them said that in the promises they required before they signed contracts to start with. Well, apart from Dean Turner, who apparently sucks this game, and as such can come off for Jamie Slaughter, and Mark Heaton can come off for Robbie Byrne. That should give a couple of players a break so they're fit for the next game. Ooh, that was a good move. And a great run back from Lajara to get that tackle in. But yes, I'm only leading 1-0. It feels like it should be 3 or 4 at this point, considering how dominant I was in the first half. But I'll take a 1-0 victory if that's what I get. I would like more goals. Because, well, who wouldn't? Oh, off the bar. Struth. That was harder to miss than it was to hit. And apparently Thomas is being a Ted error prone, but there's not much I can do about that. I don't have much by the way of cover and defence. And yes, that is my fault, as I built this team this way with these players, so I don't have enough people to cover certain positions. That is my fault, because I've been here long enough that the team is mine. It's not like I'm dealing with somebody else's players as a new manager. Now, oh, I wasn't sure Smith was going to get to that. I will say that I'm not sure if I get offered the Borussia Mönchengladbach job, or the BMG as they're known in this game, that I will actually take it. But I just find it interesting the fact that I got offered an interview, so I went to see what the job offer might be like. But it'll be interesting if I do take it, to build another squad again, especially as it will be built out of European players, well, mainly Germans, but because I tend to have a very large domestic bias when I build squads. But I'm sure there will be a smattering of other Europeans in there because, well, why not? I've got the whole of the European Union I can use. Seriously? Byrne, why did you do that? Alright. Where did Byrne drop back? Not much I can say to that. Oh, Tyrese Desnos plays for Nottingham Forest. I forgot about that. Which I shouldn't have done, because I uploaded the earlier game I had against Nottingham Forest a few hours ago. And I noted that in the description. And if you don't know who Tyrese Desnos is, he was one of the players I had on loan from Tottenham at Wigan last season. For at least half the season anyway, before I found this formation and decided that he didn't really fit it. Oh, good cross. Oh, I thought that'd gone in. Anyway, they took Tyrese Desnos off. So that was the substitution I saw and reminded me of who he was and the fact he was playing for Forest this year. I assume on loan from Tottenham, rather than actually having moved to Forest. That was a different free kick, I suppose. Oh, great ball. Lousy shot, but great ball. Mind you, I've been saying that a lot with this team. Oh, seriously, guys? You just mugged him. Oh, look at the referee with his arms out, jogging up to my player. Oh, I thought I was going to get a red card for that. Oh, I thought Smith had misjudged the jump on that one. It was going to float over his head. Yes, paranoia does reign when I'm down to 10 men. You expect everything to go wrong at that point. Oh, nice. It's the header from the defender. I think it was Thomas up to Slaughter that surprised me. I didn't expect Thomas to go running forward like that. But yes, with a man less, it's kind of hard to find the gaps. Oh, that was a good goal. Seriously, whoever scored was a former Wigan player? Okay, he's not one of my former Wigan players. He must have left before I joined. So I certainly don't remember a guy named Parrott. Well, my board could have been right. The Byrne deal could have been a financial waste of money, or however they phrased it. Because getting sent off, for me, can quite frequently be the kiss of death as far as your career goes. That was a heck of a shot by Chamberlain from that distance. He actually got it on target. Obviously he got bored passing the ball backwards and forwards. Good cross. Yeah, I definitely don't recognise Anthony Parrott, so he must have left Wigan before I joined. Whoa, cleared that off the line. From a game I dominated up until the sending off, this has been unfortunate, I think is the best way of phrasing it. That was unfortunate. Although Robbie Byrne is not exactly my favourite person right now. I don't care if he gets upset. He feels the fine was unfair. Fine, let's discuss that, shall we? Good. At least you accepted that fact. As if you got really annoyed with me, I would have really lost it with you. It was a good goal. Okay, well, I'm just curious what the table looks like after that. 4-point gap, having played the same amount of games. Yeah, well, that's because I got the early kickoff. So Southampton against Barnsley, who are a playoff team, if nothing else. Well, or currently a playoff team. Let's see how that goes. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. I'll stop chuntering on and musing about things. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you down the road.